Welcome everyone. My name is Jonathan. I am the Acting Fitness Coordinator at CFB Borden, and it's my pleasure today to bring you this lower body strength workout. This is going to be a fairly simple workout in the sense that we're not doing a whole large variety of movements, but it's going to be challenging because it is going to make your legs get tired, and you might want to be careful going downstairs at the end of this workout. To accomplish our workout today, we're actually just going to use body weight. Now, normally for strength training, as we know, we would go to the gym and employ the tools that are available to us there, like kettlebells, dumbbells, barbells, resistance bands, cables, pulleys, all those great things. Now, those are wonderful tools to have at our disposal, and they certainly can help us build strength by gradually increasing the amount of load and resistance we're applying to our muscles. However, we don't always have access to the gym, or sometimes we don't want to go there. So whatever the reason is, it's really good to have some body weight techniques in your pocket that you can use to keep yourself physically tuned up. So whether you're trying to stay operationally ready, you're just focused on your physical health and well-being, and or you want to prepare for a sport that you really enjoy, this type of workout will really go a long way in helping you with that. All in, warm up, main body, cool down. The training session of this video is only about 30 minutes. So stay with me. Before we continue, I want you to, for your own safety, read the entire disclaimer in the description below. I'm also going to put it on the screen for you to have a quick look at. Awesome, thanks for taking the time to read that. If you haven't done so already, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to our CFMWS YouTube channel. It's a great channel. There's many workouts here like this one, as well as other themes and topics explored by many different instructors from East Coast to West Coast. You're going to find a lot of really good information. Now moving forward, lower body strength with body weight. How are we going to do that? We've got a few techniques we're going to explore today to help us. The first one is we're going to play around with our tempo. So we will do some exercise a little bit more slowly with control, and we're going to follow those typically with something fast. So a similar movement pattern, but explosive. So a jump, for example, is a great way that we can accomplish that. So there will be some jumping in the standard prescription. However, I will offer modifications that will allow you to do this workout without jumping if that's not something that you feel comfortable with. The other technique that we're going to focus on is using our more single leg exercises than double leg exercises. So although we will be doing squats with both legs, we'll be focusing more on lunging type patterns. And the reason that's going to be helpful is if we take our upper body weight and the weight that's going to be handled by our lower body as resistance, if we start using one leg more than the other, then that resistance becomes more because we have less muscle handling the same amount of weight. And that's one of the tricks that we're going to employ. Finally, we're going to do a couple supersets, meaning we're going to take two exercises paired together. They're going to focus on the same muscle group, and we're just going to go through exercise A plus exercise B with no rest in between, and then rest afterwards. Okay, so this is taken together going to create more deep fatigue within the muscle. The tempo work and the supersets, and if you're doing the jumping, that especially will help induce mechanical stress on the muscles, causing them to come back after having some time to recover, being stronger and more capable and ready for the next physical task that you put them through. So it's really important that today you have fun, you stay safe, and you get this workout done. All right, with no further ado, let's get going. We're going to go through some demonstrations. I'm going to warm you up. I'll do the entire workout for you to watch, and I'll do some voiceover coaching to give you some extra information on it, and then we'll cool down together and you'll be on your way. Thanks for stopping by. Here we go. Today's standard exercise prescription involves jumping and high impact. If you're not feeling like jumping is in the cards for you today, use the no impact version of this workout, which emphasizes slower movement speeds a little bit more and can be modified further. If you're feeling like you're just getting back into exercise and this isn't something you're sure you can do well, then please reduce the number of rounds from 3 down to 2, and or reduce the amount of time spent doing the more vigorous exercise such as the jumping versions of squats and lunges. All right, let's start with our standard squat. We're going to position our heels about shoulder width apart. This is generally a good comfortable stance. Play around with it if you need to. Toes can point forwards or you can angle them outwards slightly. We're going to bend through the hips and knees. Okay, this is a combination of hip and knee hinging. as we sink down. Think of your spine and maintain a good posture in your back at all times. If you go too low and you feel that you're rounding, don't go quite so low. As we go into our jump squats, it's critical that we focus on a quiet, soft, and absorptive landing. So we start in a shallow squat, we jump off the ground, and we absorb into that shallow squat again. So we're not landing with a thump or a thud, we're really absorbing in. This is going to load our muscles and it's going to preserve our joints. Very, very critical detail. For the reverse lunge, we want to step far enough back that our rear knee is either underneath our hip at the bottom or slightly behind our hip. Our front knee is going to move somewhat forward, but it's not going to reach out past the toes, and our front heel stays firmly planted on the ground. These same mechanical principles stay in place as we move into jumping. Very important we do not lose our form here. We will use the first slow movement as our primer before going into the jump. For the rear foot elevated split squat, use any object that you have available that's approximately 8 to 12 inches in height. Anything higher than that could make the exercise problematic, and mobility limitations could present as an issue. So find something that's comfortable, place your rear foot on it. That foot's going to help give you some balance and stability, but the real effort's coming from that forward leg. So that heel and toe of the forward leg is firmly pressing to the ground. We're bending into the hip and the knee, lowering down under control before pressing firmly into the floor to come back up to a standing position. These exercises are done slowly. So in the workout, you're going to notice our downward tempo is usually 3 to 4 seconds, and then we come up in about 1 second. That's going to be applied to our standard squat. It's going to be applied to our reverse lunge and our rear foot elevated split squat. Here we go, let's warm up. So for the warm-up, we'll start with some simple shoulder movements, rolling the shoulders forward while we focus on deep inhales into the belly and exhales. Rolling them back a few times, just checking and seeing how our posture feels, how our shoulders are. We're not doing a lot of upper body work, or really any today, but it's really important to make sure our airways are open, and we just take account of how the body's feeling. So from shoulder rolls, we move to arm circles. Forward first, just doing several, breathing deeply, and then reverse in the direction. Several more. Deep breaths in through your nose, complete exhales out through your mouth. Now we'll take a big inhale, we'll reach up overhead, drawing in air, and lower down. As we lower, think about pressing the backs of your hands to the wall behind you, elbows to the wall behind you, just everything to open up that chest as you slide your elbows down and into your ribs. After doing that a few times, we're going to reach over to one side, create a nice arc along the outside of the body, just opening up some of the muscular pathways here. Again, checking in with ourselves. How do our ribs feel? How does the side of our torso feel? How do our hips feel? These movements are just simple for getting us ready to go and taking account of where our body is at today. We'll do a couple more here for the upper body and shoulders before we move into our specific stuff for the legs. So right now we're just spinning the arms in opposite directions. We're keeping them long and extended. Generally the body likes circles and rotations, so we're doing a little bit of that here, and we'll do some for the neck. If this causes pinching or pain, do not do it, or just try half circles without going all the way past the top. Good, so right now we have a good idea how we're feeling in the upper body, with our posture, with our shoulders. These things still matter. Moving on to high knees, warming up the hip joint, focusing on that hinge that we're going to be experiencing in the hip as we squat and as we lunge. So right now, staying nice and tall with your posture, keeping your back nice and straight, lifting your knees in front, and now you can see we're going wider up to the side, opening up the hips a little bit further. This is a little more specific to our two-legged squat. All right, from here we'll work on our balance a little bit. So for 2 deep breaths in and out, balancing on one leg with the knee at about waist level. Focus on the fixed object ahead of you. Doing the same for the other side, 2 deep breaths, that's the timing. Let's go one more round. For this next round, we're going to hold it for 3 deep breaths. So keep your breathing uniform. Really focus on deep inhales, full exhales. Switching sides. This will help warm up the stabilizer muscles in both our ankle
lower leg and hip, which will help us perform some of the movements today. Great, now that we've checked in on our balance and primed a little bit, let's take a wide straddling stance. And we'll open up the inner groin as well as our hips and thighs with some lateral lunging. So right here, I'm just doing a little hip shuffle. Now we're sinking into a lateral lunge. We'll keep our feet planted in the same spot, and we'll shift our body weight from side to side. So it's hard to see here, but I'm actually reaching my butt back as I shift over to the side. All right, so come to center, reach your hips back to the wall behind you, and then sink down into that half squat position with the outstretched leg. Feel a nice stretch to your groin with this one inner thigh. Breathe the entire time. Try to keep that deep breathing as you go. About 4 per side is good. But from here, we'll switch into a nice deep lunge. Okay, we're hovering the knee. We'll do a few knee hovers, so that back knee will hover for a few seconds. We'll lower it. We'll hover it again. We're doing that 3 times. Okay, starting to really warm up the muscles that we're going to be stressing in this workout, depending on. Finally, we'll take both hands inside that forward leg. We'll elevate the rear knee. Just opening up, stretching a little bit. Keep your shoulders soft. Keep your neck relaxed. We don't want too much tension in the upper body here. Going over to the other side. Same idea. Nice deep lunge. Hover the knee 3 times. Start activating those muscles in the thigh and in the hip. Also, we're working on our balance a little bit more here, working on our focus and turning our attention inward to our body to create some mindful intention behind our exercise. Hands to the floor, inside that forward leg, elevate the back knee, feel a nice stretch, stay relaxed in your upper body, shoulders and neck. Wonderful, find a comfortable way to gradually come back up to standing. And we're going to work on our standard squat. Okay, so your arms, what I'm doing here is kind of a genie type position. My arms, I've got them crossed to the opposite shoulders, elbows kind of up, creating a shelf. You can reach your arms straight out. You can have them on your hips, whatever feels comfortable for you. You'll see me do a few different things during this workout. Generally, I hold my hands in front of my body as if I'm holding a dumbbell or a kettlebell in front of my chest. Finishing here with a pause. And now going into some jogging on the spot. So we want to start warming up our heart rate a little bit and also preparing the ankle and the tendons and the muscles in the lower leg for the jumping, because we'll be leaving the ground and landing, and there's a lot of explosiveness in that, and that can be structurally challenging. So it's not just the muscles we're training today, there's other tissues involved as well. I just want to make sure that we're thoroughly prepared. So if you have any pain doing something like this, then jumping is not likely in the cards for you today. Doing some butt kicks, warming up the hamstrings a little bit more while we work on our ankles and lower leg. Just doing some virtual skipping. You'll have some fun with it. You can play around with footwork. I'm doing a few double unders here. Again, just feeling springy. So you'll notice I'm bouncing on the balls of my feet. My knees remain soft. I'm not locking them out. We do not want to lock out our knees when we're jumping. Whether we're skipping or doing jump squats, it's not what we do. And then just some more running on the spot. You will find that your heart rate and breathing rate will increase during this workout, especially when you finish the jumping. During the recovery, however, it may come back down to a little bit more of a normal level. All right, let's practice our jump squats. We'll do at least 5. 5 to 8 is good for priming. Focus on that quiet, soft landing. That is critical for today's workout, for your safety and for good outcomes. Now let's practice that reverse lunge after a few more jump squats with a side view. So you can see I'm going into a shallow squat when I land. I'm basically starting and finishing in the exact same position. I'm not landing with straight legs. Perfect. Sliding back or stepping back into that reverse lunge, the choice is yours. Sometimes sliding back makes us feel more stable because we keep that back foot always in contact with the floor. But stepping back is what I'm doing here, and that works just fine. So focusing on going down slowly, coming up fairly quick, and not resting too much at the top. Now we're doing that switch jump, okay? This is a tricky exercise. If you've never done this before, you're welcome to try it. Take more rest in between. Don't worry about going continuously like boom, boom, boom. Do a jump and a switch, pause, do another. Here we go, starting with our body weight squat, slow tempo. Specifically on the way down, we're focusing on 3 seconds before we quickly come up and start coming right back down. So our tempo is something like this: up, down, 2, 3, up, down, 2, 3, and repeat. We want to spend as little time at the top of this movement as possible so we're not resting, we're keeping our muscles loaded. Get ready for your jump squats in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Switching into our jumps, we don't need to jump to the moon. The point of this exercise is to get off the floor, land safely, quietly, and using our muscles to absorb. So focus on your mechanics. Even though you're going to feel tired, your breathing will increase, your heart rate will increase, your legs will feel heavy.
10 seconds.
Stay focused on your form. Land in a soft squat. Take off from that soft squat. Good, now we get to recover for 1 minute. The goal of this recovery is to get us ready for the next round. There's no way we're going to feel entirely rested after each consecutive round. So you will feel increasingly more tired as you go through this workout, but that's okay. Use the recovery, it will help a lot. Keep moving during the recovery as I am. This is an active recovery here. I'm just doing some knee bends and hip bends. Simple things to keep the blood pumping out of my lower body.
Halfway there.
Also helps keep me physically and mentally in the workout, as opposed to sitting down on the couch and finding a position of complete comfort. That would not be productive. Stay on your feet, stay moving at a light intensity so you feel like you're still getting rest and getting recovered, but you're not getting too comfortable.
10 seconds.
Setting up for round 2, starting with a bodyweight squat in 3, 2, 1. Beautiful, everyone. Keep up this tempo. Again, slow on the way down, quick on the way up. No pause at the top. Once you hit that top position, boom, you're going right back down. Again, we're up, down, 2, 3. Up, down, 2, 3. Couple more in here. Let's get ready for our jump squats.
Halfway there.
Here we go. Okay, shallow squat when we take off, shallow squat when we land, feeling springy, sounding quiet, soft on the feet. Knee tracking is maintained, neutral spine is
10
maintained,
seconds.
and we're breathing. Hang in there, let's go. Wonderful. And just like that, you are done 2 of your first 3 rounds. So this really does go by quickly. This entire workout component is less than 17 minutes. So that alone is going to keep us motivated. Again, active recovery mode here, high knees, knee bends. You can shuffle on the spot, you can march on the spot, you can do some shadow boxing. Things that aren't going to tire you out too much, but keep you moving. Okay?
Halfway there.
Make sure you sip some water in the meantime as well. So how did that round feel compared to the first one? Are you in your sweet spot now, in the zone, or was it a little bit more tiring?
10 seconds.
Let's get ready for this third and final round of slow squatting with jump squatting. 3, 2, 1, here we go. Up, down, 2, 3. Up, down, 2, 3. Keep it slow. If you want to slow it down more, that's even better. When we get tired and we're under stress, we tend to speed things up. We might think we're only going down. It might be a 3-second downward phase, but it might, become a 2-second downward phase because we're rushing it to get out of the discomfort. So really slow it down, even a little bit more to be on the safe side.
Halfway there.
Final round of jump squats. Again, stay soft, focus on that landing. It's more important that you're jumping softly and quietly with good mechanics in the hips and the knees than jumping, through the roof. That's less important in this workout.
10 seconds.
Hang in there. And we got a few more here. Stay with it. Last one. Awesome. All right. All 3 rounds of that first exercise superset are done. Another active recovery. Sip some water. Again, the entire workout is only 17 minutes long. We're already through the first of 2 supersets. Right? The next one's going to be the alternating reverse lunge with the alternating jump lunge. And then the final phase of this workout will be the rear foot elevated split squat.
Halfway there.
Which will also be doing three sets per side, but there's no superset. So in 20 seconds, we're starting with that alternating reverse lunge. And you can step your leg back or slide your leg back, whatever feels better for
10
you.
seconds.
Let's start getting ourselves set up and ready. Here we go, stepping into a reverse lunge or sliding back into a reverse lunge. The focus is on that forward leg. So whichever leg is out in front, that's the one doing most of the work. The rear leg is providing stability. It's helping out a little bit, but we really don't want to put too much of our weight in it or push off of it at all. So really keep yourself hinged at your waist a little bit forward so you can keep your center of gravity over that front foot. Slow that descent. We want a similar tempo to what we were doing with our squats. 40 seconds of this and then 20 seconds of jumping starting in 3, 2, 1, let's jump. Same mechanics. Get enough of a spread between the feet that we're not too stretched out or too jammed up.
10 seconds.
Forward foot is landing flat on the ground, heels and toes down. We don't want to have just the toes on the floor. That could be a problem. Great. And just like that, we're done our first round of our second superset. You'll notice this one's probably going to feel more difficult, more fatiguing. Those split jumps are challenging. They're not easy, both technically and from a stress standpoint. So if you need to take more time with them, if you had some mistakes in your technique or you're struggling to maintain your balance, other than eliminating
Halfway
them,
there.
what I would recommend is do a jump, land, focus on a careful landing, regroup your balance before you do your next jump. So it doesn't have to be jump, 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 jump. It can be jump, pause, jump, pause. Okay? No need to rush.
10
seconds. Again, we're starting with our alternating reverse lunge, trying to slow down the downward phase. Here we go. Nice and slow. Quick switches, so we're not spending much time at the top of this movement. We want to keep our muscles loaded. Stay out of the positions that offer us too much recovery until it becomes our dedicated 1-minute rest. You're all doing great. I know that you are, so keep it up. Okay, we have a different proportion of slow work to fast work for this superset, and that's simply because those switch jumps are so challenging. So 40 seconds of this alternating lunging, and then in 3 seconds we'll begin our 20 seconds of jumping. Here we go. Just like with that jump squat, we should be fairly quiet. We should be soft. That forward foot
10 seconds.
Landing flat on the ground. We're bending into both our hip and our knee to absorb this. One more. Awesome. 2 down, only 1 to go. This workout's flying by, which is the best part. When you're done, you're going to be happy. You put in the time, and your muscles are also going to know that you did the work. So just let's get through a little bit more training here together, and we'll cool down together, and you'll be on your way. Keep that active recovery going. Sip some water. Try to keep moving. Simple movements go a long way.
Halfway there.
You can do some hip rotations as well to just check in on your hips, see how you're You're feeling in different areas of your body, especially through your hips, knees, and ankles. At this point in the workout, we're likely feeling that fatigue building up. Our legs are probably feeling heavier.
10 seconds.
That's expected. Stay focused on quality right now. It's more important now than before. Here we go. Staying slow and controlled. Minimal time at the top. Quick switches. Switch, get that leg back. Switch, get that leg back. And if you can go even slower, I encourage you to do so. Slower on the way down. Nice work, everyone. Form is sharp. Our mind's in it. We're focused on what we're doing.
Halfway there.
It's not tune out. Tune into everything. Stay focused on your movements. Get ready for the jumps. And let's take off. Here we go. Up. Remember, you can do the rapid fire, or you can switch, pause,
10
switch,
seconds.
pause. Whatever works best for you right now based on how you're feeling. Awesome. And there we have it. We are done the first two phases of this workout. Both supersets are accomplished. You can see at the very end there, those last 3 jumps, I barely got through. I had to take a little break in between each one. Definitely the fatigue set in, and the tiredness was very, very palpable in my muscles. And as they probably are for yours right now. So don't worry about it. Take this recovery. We're halfway through. We got another 30
Halfway
seconds.
there.
There's no more jumping in the workout, so that's good. Now we're just going to really get into that deep fatigue drain of the leg muscles with a rear foot elevated split squat. So this one is nice and stable. We're kind of in one spot. We're not moving, we're not stepping, we're not jumping. So I really want each of you to
10
focus
seconds.
on moving slowly on the way down. Keep the weight in that front leg over the front foot. Here we go. Up, down, 2, 3. Up, down, 2, 3. Up, down, 2, 3. Maintain that tempo, or if you can, even slower. Okay, 3 to 4 seconds on the way down is a good tempo here. Check in on that back leg. Do not push too heavily into it. Keep it light. You can see I'm lifting it a little bit off the platform just to make sure I'm not relying on that back leg much at all. And we rest for
Halfway
15
there.
seconds before we switch legs. So a little bit of break in between sides. Before you get back to the same side, you're looking at 45 seconds of rest between the same leg. And here we go. Right back into it. Same tempo. Up, down, 2,
10
3.
seconds.
Up, down, 2, 3. Keep it going. 15 more seconds. Okay, keep that weight over that front foot. Heels firmly pressing on the ground, as are the balls of the feet. Hinging into the hips, bending into the knee. Back leg is light. Awesome. Round 1 done. For this one, there's no 1 minute of rest here. So there's 15 seconds in between each leg, and we just keep going through. So this is a real struggle.
Halfway there.
Here we go. Back into it. Make sure you remember what side you did last, okay? So we don't double down on the same leg 2 times in a row. It could happen. A nice clean movement. That back knee is kissing the
10
ground,
seconds.
either just under your hip or in my case, just behind your hip, which is fine. A little bit of a tighter position than the last one. Great, 15 seconds here. Tighter mean we're not quite as spread out as we were with our reverse lunge, but we're also not too tucked in that our front knee is jutting too far forward. Here we go. Second set for the second side. 30 seconds in total here. Slow and controlled.
Halfway there.
You're going to feel this. This slow downward movement with that back leg elevated, this puts a lot of work into that forward leg. The forward leg is doing a lot more work than it was doing when both legs were squatting together. That's why this version has the possibility of improving our
10
strength
seconds.
without adding resistance. And if you have had resistance you wanted to hold, you could as well. But usually this is going to be enough. All right, getting ready. Final round, one more per side. 30 seconds, here we go. Last time with this leg out in front. Stay light on that back leg. Feel the work in that front thigh. Make sure your heel's firmly pressing into the ground.
Halfway there.
Stay focused on something in front of you. A fixed object on the wall, something to help you maintain your balance, especially as you get tired. 5 more seconds.
10 seconds.
All right, last set. This is the end of the workout. Now what I've done here with these last 2 sets per side, instead of taking 15 seconds in between legs, I went for 30. Okay, you're welcome to do the same. We're staying with the 30 seconds of work, so that did not change. Halfway through this
Halfway
set,
there.
15 seconds to go. Keep that movement slow. I know your leg might want to let you down faster, might be feeling tired, it might want to buckle. Keep those muscles engaged. There it is. Last rep of
10
your
seconds.
workout. You guys did amazing. All right, so now we're going to do a little bit of an active recovery and a cool down and relax. Great, let's start our cool down with some active movements just to help redistribute some of the blood in our lower body, as well as check in on familiar movements that we did at the beginning of the workout, see maybe how we feel different now. So high knee raises, 5 per side, knee bends, 5 or 6 per side. Let's immediately start trying to regulate our breathing. It might not happen right now, but by the end of the cool down, we should be in better control of our breath rate. Let's quickly check in on our balance. See how it feels to stand on one leg. Check the other side. Maybe you notice that workout did have an impact on your balance or just the amount of strength you have in one leg right now left over. Okay, wide straddle. Reach the butt back, shift your weight over to one side. And we'll progressively go from side to side, see if we can sink a little bit further back in the hips and get a little bit lower as well. We're still breathing nice and deep here, trying to deepen our inhales, slow down our exhales. Staying in that straddle position, just focusing on the hamstrings for a couple of deep breaths. You can rest your hands on your thighs as well if that's more comfortable for you. A little bit of pelvic movement. And now we're going down to the floor, okay, to a nice seated position with our knees wide and bent 90 degrees. And we're going to basically windshield wiper them from side to side. If you can, sit up nice and tall at each end. And if that's too difficult or doesn't feel comfortable, you can lean back and put your hands behind you as struts for support. Right, just some gentle hip movement right now. Our femur or our thigh bone is rotating in the hip socket. This is good to help facilitate a little bit of movement at the end of a vigorous workout. So we don't walk out of this workout feeling too stiff, and we help to basically prepare ourselves for our next task today. So we do want to wind down from physical activity. This is a safe, productive way to do it. Now a little bit of focused static stretching on the quadriceps or the front of the thigh. I like to bring my bottom leg out in front, reduces some of the pinch or strain in low back in case that bothers you. Focusing on deep breathing, nice comfortable position, stay very relaxed and just breathe. We're holding this stretch for approximately 20 seconds. or you can time it for about 4 or 5 minutes deep breaths. And if you're enjoying these stretches and you have time, you can do these more than once per side. You can do them a couple times per leg and just pause the video, or go off and do an extended cool down on your own. More stretching if that's what's important to you right now. It would not hurt. But for time purposes, we're keeping this warm up fairly to the point. Okay, so we're doing 1 time per side for the quadriceps stretch. Now we'll do some alternating knee hugs, just holding them for 1 or 2 deep breaths and pulling that knee in towards the chest. Keep your shoulders and head supported nicely on the floor. We don't want to lift our head up and cause stress and strain in our neck. Again, it's all about relaxation right now. We want to unwind from that physical state that we were in minutes ago so that we can move on to the next stages of our day. Double knee hug. It should feel nice. As from here, we'll cross the ankle over the other knee. Just think about that knee rotating away from the body, creating a figure 4 position. For some of you, this might be no stretch at all. For me, I feel it. If you need more, reach in behind your knee and just pull the leg in towards you a little bit until you feel a stretch. The stretch is going to be felt deep in the buttocks of the leg that's crossed over. So right now on the video, my left leg is crossed over my right knee, so I'm actually stretching my left buttock, the muscle deep within. Again, if you want a little bit more, you can bring your knee in towards the body. Head and shoulders still relaxed on the floor, breathing nice and deeply. Finally, we're going to finish in a very comfortable position because you've earned it. This is often called child's pose in yoga. You can keep your arms outstretched in front if that feels nice, head gently resting on the floor, or you can bring your arms along your side, palms up, whichever you prefer. And I encourage you to spend the next 30 seconds to a minute here, just relaxing, relishing in the thought of what you just accomplished. Thank you guys so much for coming to this workout. I hope you really enjoyed it.